The University of Tulsa's new president officially takes over today. He's been in town for a while, living in one of the dorms for part of the summer, but now he's ready to lead. In tonight's To The Point, 2 News anchor Russ McCaskey sits down with Jeffrey Orsak.
We're with the new president for University of Tulsa, Jeffrey Orsak. Thanks for giving us some time today.
I'm thrilled to be with you.
So take us through this. You're down in the Dallas area, you're at SMU, and there's going to be a president opening here at Tulsa. How does all this kind of transpire? How did you find out about it?
Well, I got a phone call from somebody that is in the business and suggested that I take a look at the University of Tulsa, which was interesting because SMU plays University of Tulsa, so I'm quite familiar with the university, but it didn't really cross my mind that this would be a good fit. But, you know, over the course of a year, and these presidential searches are very labor-intensive, I just fell in love with the university, the people of the university, and ultimately the city of Tulsa. And so, in the end, it was just a marriage made in heaven for me.
So, now that you're here and kind of getting settled, what are the goals? What would you like to establish? Where would you like Tulsa to be, say, in a year or 5 years down the road?
Well, already the university has emerged as one of the nation's premier institutions, and so I want to make sure that we maintain that momentum and that people recognize this city as having a great university, and that the university becomes a driver for attracting talent to Tulsa and retaining that talent. It's part of the city, and it's one of the great assets of the city and the state of Oklahoma. And people recognize that big ideas are bubbling out of this community. They're going to have an impact all across the country and all across the world.
Now, your background, you're an engineer. And so how does that translate to making that jump from engineering to being a president of a university?
Well, you know, at my heart and soul, I'm a professor in academics, so I just happen to work in engineering. So it's really not that big of a leap. I've been doing administration for quite some time now, and so this was just a good fit for me. I think one of the kind of the unique things that an engineer brings to the table in leading a great university like TU is that we really are about problem solving. And we know how to get things done, and we know how to get them done in an orderly and efficient manner. And so this is a big organic machine, a great university. But it can, you know, we can still run it efficiently, we can run it quickly, and we can move forward quickly. And I think that the kind of the engineer ethic is you know, to get stuff done.
Let's talk a little bit about, you know, the kids today. We're talking about, you're dealing with a lot of 18-year-olds, 18 to 22-year-olds and so forth. And the generations that are coming and are going to be coming through this university is so very different than even what we had 10 years ago. How important is it to stay relevant to what's going on with this younger generation?
Oh, it's incredibly important. I mean, they come to us every year as different as you know, one can imagine. I mean, the world that they have been raised in is completely different than the world that most adults recognize today. And so we've got to understand that so that not that we can accommodate it as much as that we can really get, you know, the education imparted in a way that they really understand and can adopt. And so it's something that, you know, I spend a lot of time thinking about. I mean, you know, it's kind of strange to go to the mall, and for me it's a little bit of a scientific experiment. I've got my eyes open, just trying to figure out how people interact with one another and how important, you know, how important technology is in their lives and what they're looking at and what interests them. In the end, though, they're coming here to learn and to grow. But how they do that changes from year to year.
You know, and I think, you know, kind of as we start to wind down a little bit, talk a little bit about the economy and how that affects private institutions, because, you know, school's getting more and more expensive, and things are tough out there for a lot of people.
Yeah, it is, and we feel that. TU is fortunate. We're really one of the most cost-effective private universities in the country, and that's a point of pride for us because it's, you know, you never want to be the most expensive, so you don't want to brag about that, nor are we cheap in the sense that, you know, that we're going to cut corners. When kids come to this university, they're going to get a phenomenal education at a price and at a cost structure that they will likely be able to absorb into, you know, into the next few years of their lives as they go off to work. So it's something that we watch very carefully, and it's important that we be able to provide a great education to families that want that for their children, and to find ways, in creative ways, to make that happen.
What do you think the biggest challenge is going to be here?
Maintaining the momentum and just continuing to build. I mean, right now, this is one of the elite universities in the country. you know, you just can't ever be satisfied by that. You've got to continue to push, but the mountain gets steeper from here on. And so we're starting to compete against the greatest universities anywhere in the world, and that's going to take all the ideas and all the energy that we can muster. And so it's exciting, though. I mean, when you make the ascent to, you know, to the top of the mountain, that's where the view gets great.
Jeffrey Orsak, thanks for joining us today.
It's an honor.
Good luck.
Thank you.